Absolutely.
All right.
All good.
Good afternoon. Beautiful day in Savannah, a little wet. Thank you for joining for for some of our annual press conferences around the St. Patrick's Day events. I'm Jay Melder, honored to be the city manager of the greatest city in the world, and with me and members of Team Savannah, which you'll hear from a little later on. Today, we want to focus on keeping it green for the 200th running of the St. Patrick's Day Parade here in Savannah, and really for the entire weekend. We know from our hospitality partners that they're expecting upwards of 90% occupancy in all of our hotel rooms for the entire weekend. So we're expecting historic crowds from visitors and from residents alike here in downtown Savannah for the 200th running of the St. Patrick's Day Parade. For the last several years, we've been talking to our community about keeping St. Patrick's Day green, keeping it clean. And we want to thank our residents, and we want to thank our visitors, and we want to thank our businesses for doing just that. As a matter of fact, over the last 2 years, we've had some of the cleanest and most respectful St. Patrick's Day festivals that we've ever had in the city of Savannah. And what that means is that our crews don't have to work for hours and hours overnight to bring back our beautiful historic squares and spaces and parks back to being beautiful so that we can enjoy them again. So we're asking again that our residents, that our visitors keep St. Patrick's Day green. You got to treat our National Historic District like it's a national park. Pack it in and pack it out. We're going to have, for this year's festival and really over the entire weekend, we know that there's going to be more people. So that means that we've got more city marshals out, we've got more police, we're going to have more porta-johns, 50% more porta-johns this year, which is a big part about keeping everything clean. We're going to have more dumpsters and trash receptacles, but we're also going to have more enforcement and more fines for people who aren't respecting our city's beautiful spaces and squares and littering, and you're going to hear about all of that today. So I want to start with kind of introducing the folks in Team Savannah who are here, who are going to provide some information to you today, and again, to thank everybody for really keeping St. Pat's green an important part of their festivities this year and every year at St. Patrick's Day here in the city of Savannah. So first off, I want to welcome our Assistant City Manager, Heath Lloyd. We've got our Chief of Public Information and Public Affairs, Brett Bell, there in the back. Eddie Grant, who's our Assistant Director of Special Events and Tourism. Asia Hankerson, who's Special Projects Coordinator. In Heath's office, we have Gene Pravat, who's our Chief of Government Operations and all things keeping it green and keeping it clean. And of course, we have Susan Broker, who is our St. Patrick's czar. She's in charge of everything and nursing a little laryngitis today, so we're going to give her a break. Director Kiwana Andrews, who's in charge of our sanitation department. He and his teams are really the heroes of St. Patrick's Day and really ready for everybody to hear about what we're doing around sanitation. And then, of course, Gordon Denny, our Director of Park and Tree, and our Park and Tree Department of what keeps our beautiful squares and beautiful parks beautiful. And he's going to have some important information to share with you as well about how you can enjoy these beautiful squares during St. Patrick's Day. So now I want to turn it over to Eddie Grant to go over an overview of our St. Patrick's Day weekend events. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Eddie Grant. I'm the Assistant Director of the Special Events, Film, and Tourism Office, and this is our Super Bowl for the city. But not only our Super Bowl, this is the 200th anniversary of something we started back in 1824. So this is a monumental occasion for us, and we're glad that everybody in the community is coming out and celebrating. Our office is charged with the overall facilitation and planning of this event. Of course, our esteemed colleagues here are the subject matter experts in everything that they do. But today I'm going to give you an overview of the parade and focus on the cleanliness and, as the city manager said, keeping the city of Savannah green for St. Patrick's Day. So the parade actually takes place on Saturday, March 16th. And a lot of people call our office and they ask that question, is it happening on Sunday, St. Patrick's Day? The answer is no. It happens on Saturday. Anytime St. Patrick's Day falls on a Sunday, we move the parade to the day before. So Saturday, March 16th will be parade day. The parade route will remain the same this year. If anyone anyone is unfamiliar with that, the parade starts at Abercorn and Gwinnett. It travels north to Broughton Street, where it turns to the east and heads to East Broad Street, and then turns north again to Bay. Once it hits Bay, it travels west to Bull Street, and then travels south on Bull Street around all the squares to where it ends at Harrison Bull. And you'll see the disband area right around there, and where we get all the parade floats and the parade walkers out of the area. So for the timeline for the parade, when we think about this, even though the parade is on Saturday, this is an entire weekend event for us. You'll see all hands on deck out there through this whole weekend, starting from Thursday and running all through Sunday. Everybody asks about chairs. When can we put chairs and things out along the parade route? The answer to that is 6 p.m. on Friday, March 15th. Anything before 6 p.m., our city marshals, who will be out in force, will remove from the parade routes. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Even if you go out there and lock things to city structures or whatever, we will cut them off and remove them before 6 p.m. on Friday. So, and that's done for safety, that's done to keep the sidewalks clear, that's done to keep all the infrastructure out of the streets so that we can carry on with city business as we should on a normal Friday. The squares will open at 6 a.m. on Saturday, March 16th parade morning. So our marshals will be out there all night long keeping people out of the squares, and then as you can imagine, as tradition holds, at 6 a.m. we'll blow the whistle and open the squares up, and there'll be a dash to get to everybody's favorite places that they sit at every year. But that is 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. Vehicles along the parade route and in the staging area, which you can see on an interactive map on our website at savannahga.gov/St. Pat's, will be towed from the parade route and the staging area as early as 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday parade morning. That is at the owner's expense. You will see a multitude of big red 11 by 17 inch signs that say no parking and have the dates and times listed on them. If your car is parked in that area, then our PD officers will tow it, and they do video the entire route. So when people call and complain and they say, well, my car got towed and I was unaware of everything, there's probably going to be a video of a sign saying no parking where their car was removed from. So just keep that in mind, because we don't want folks to get towed. We want everyone to enjoy the event, and we want to avoid towing if possible, but we have to do it for safety. Street closures will begin as early as 6 a.m. in the staging area, which is out around that Abercorn and Gwinnett Street area and by Forsyth Park. The rest of the route, Bull Street, Bay, Abercorn, will close starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. We will try to keep those roads open as long as possible, but at 8 o'clock in the morning, you will start seeing closures as public safety dictates. We've also worked in a plan this year. As you know, the parade has kind of a boot at the north end of it where people tend to get stuck if they go down Drayton Street, but we have a plan to bleed traffic out up until about 10 o'clock that morning. Don't try to get down there. That doesn't mean try to get down to that area to find parking. We just have a plan to get people out if that happens. So just keep that in mind. River Street will be closed every day from Friday through Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning after we get River Street cleaned up, so that it looks just like it does every other day, nice and clean, and you don't even know that an event took place. The parade itself will start at 10:15 in the morning on Saturday from Abercorn and Gwinnett. So if anybody's asking or you're wondering when it starts, 10:15 a.m. We expect it to be done about between 2:45 and 3, but as you know, sometimes that changes. So expect the roads to be closed until about 3:30 in the afternoon. Public safety will reopen those roads as the parade clears through. And of course, our bars will be open Friday and Saturday night and on Sunday this year, on St. Patrick's Day itself. On Friday and Saturday, they will be open till their normal times. They'll close a little earlier on Sunday. So reminders, we are not permitting out-of-town motor coaches. These are known as the party buses that come from different areas just to drink while they're coming down here and party when they get to the city. We are not offering any permits for those. They will, if an out-of-town party bus or a motor coach is caught in the area of the event, it will be cited and turned around, and that's a pretty hefty citation. We will still allow for local coaches and shuttles bringing people to and from the parade area. There's also going to be, as the city manager said, additional portalets, 40% to 50% more depending on what area you're in. That is huge for us. We're up over 320 portalets this year for the entire event. That's a lot of portalets. And we hope that everybody will use them. They will be in clusters, and you can see all that on that interactive map that's on our website. The to-go cup zone will be expanded on Saturday only, on parade day. That expanded to-go cup zone is where you can have a 16-ounce plastic or aluminum container outside in the public. And that expanded zone will be from River Street behind us all the way out to Victory Drive, and as far west as the Talmadge Bridge, all the way out as far east as the overpass of the Parkway. Litter enforcement is going to be a big thing this year. Littering is subject to a minimum fine of at least $50 and/or court. If you go to court, that fine could be more, because it is a misdemeanor, local misdemeanor for littering. So just understand that if going to court may increase that fine. So our message to everyone is do not litter. Again, as the city manager said, we'll have a multitude of police officers and city marshals out who will be enforcing that this year, because we are keeping the green in St. Patrick's Day. So respect the city. Again, as the city manager said, treat it as a national park, treat it as your home. Don't litter, pack it in, pack it out. Let's keep the green in St. Patrick's Day. And I'm now going to hand it over to our Chief of Government Operations, Chief Pravat.
Great job.
Good afternoon. My name is Gene Pravat. I am Chief of Government Operations, which includes our sanitation departments, park and tree, co-compliance, and fleet maintenance services. We are very excited about this event. We're in America's most beautiful city. Spring is renewing all around us, and we're excited to be part of this bicentennial St. Patrick's celebration. To that end, sanitation and co-compliant, park and tree will have hundreds of people working before and after the event to make sure the city is clean, well-kept, and ready to go for the event. Co-compliance will be out in the squares overnight prior to the event and during the event so we can curtail litter. But that's not enough. We need everybody's help. Please help us to keep the city clean. We need people to make a plan, bring additional trash bags with you, keep them with you, and police your own trash wherever you are. Please stay off of the durable surfaces. Stay on the durable surfaces in the parks. We've got fragile vegetation, which we roped off, but please, just stay in those designated areas. Most important, just leave no trace. It's kind of like going to the beach, only your footprints. Anything else you bring, take it with you. So go green, stay clean, and leave no trace. And now Mr. Q. Andrews, Sanitation Department.
Thank you, Gene.
Good afternoon. Our mission and message is pretty clear. It's all about cleanliness. Our goal is to start clean and to end clean. Savannah frowns when debris is left on the ground. And so we'll definitely need your help to make sure that this festivity is left clean. With that being said, I'm going to share with how you can help us. First, we ask that you utilize our waste and recycling receptacles that will be along the parade route, in the squares, as well as in the festive area. We'll have an abundance, and they'll be readily available for you to be able to dispose of your waste. For businesses, we ask that you follow your regular disposal protocol, which is to use the compactors that are behind your business in the lanes. Please make sure you bag it and put it in the compactors. Please do not put bag waste in front of your businesses due to the fact that they attract vectors and insects, which is something, of course, that affects environmental health. So we do not want that. And if for whatever reason a compactor is out of service or it is full, we'd ask that you please use another waste disposal unit that's within close proximity for your disposal. And at the end of the day, we just want to make sure this is clean and everybody is doing what they need to do. If you bring it with you, take it with you. And I also like to introduce Mr. Gordon Denny, who is our Director of Park and Tree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Q. Again, I am Gordon Denny. I'm the city's Park and Tree Director. just want to remind you, we have like 50 plus men and women who every day work hard to keep these squares as beautiful as they are. And to that end, what we do during St. Patrick's Day in preparation to help protect that landscaping is we'll put up the orange fencing that you see. It has been a great addition to our preparation. It helps keep people out of our delicate areas. We ask that you please respect those fencing and stay out of that area. Also, these men and women will be in the squares during the event. They will be trying to assist with keeping it clean. And then afterwards, they're going to come in and they're going to do the job they do every year, which is amazing. And that is make this space look like no one has ever been here. So I always have to give them the kudos for the hard work they do. To have thousands of people camp out all day in a space and then afterwards look like no one's been here. It's an amazing job. So we just ask that you please respect the work they do every day, respect the fencing, respect the landscaping, respect our monuments. Please stay off the monuments and the statues. So we'll just reiterate again what has been said before. No glass, no styrofoam. Those things are extremely difficult to get out of our green spaces. So please, none of that. No littering. As our city manager has said, this is a national park. Pack it in, pack it out. We'll have trash cans available. There'll be spaces you can stack them. But we ask that you bring your own bags and that you pack it in and pack it out and help us, again, keep the green in St. Patrick's Day. So I'll pass it back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Gordon. So really want to reiterate why it's important we start every year with a press conference around cleanliness because it takes a tremendous amount of resource, and Team Savannah is out every night during the St. Patrick's Day festivities to return our beautiful city to being beautiful and spotless. And we're asking again for our residents, for our businesses, for our visitors' help in keeping the green in St. Patrick's Day. We want you to be aware of all the resources that we will have out to make sure that you can easily pack it in, pack it out. If you can't pack it out, we'll have plenty of receptacles for you. And look out for your partners and friends and make sure that they're doing the same, because if you don't, just know that there's going to be a Team Savannah member at 3 a.m. in the morning bending down to pick up your trash, or spending 30 minutes picking up a million pieces of styrofoam throughout our beautiful parks and squares. It's really, really important, which is why we start every St. Patrick's Day press conference season with a press conference around cleanliness, and we really just appreciate everybody's attention and respect for this beautiful place that we all live in and host others into as well. I want everybody to know that you can go to our website, savannahga.gov/St. Pat's, for all of the interactive maps and information you need to be safe and to have fun and be prepared for this St. Patrick's Day festival. The city is such a proud partner in this event, and we can't wait to celebrate the 200th running of the parade with you. Next week, we will have all of the fun stuff. We will have all of our police chiefs and fire chiefs and the fun badges, and Sergeant Pagliaro talking about all of the things that you need to do to be safe, and all of our public safety messages and our traffic closures and messages that you need to know before coming down through the weekend. So please tune in for that. And if anybody has any questions about keeping the green in St. Patrick's Day this year, we'll be happy to answer them.
Good afternoon. When do you expect the bulk of travelers to start coming into the city? When do those crowds start?
Well, I'll tell you what we expect. I think we expect that Thursday night will be a lively afternoon and night. We expect Friday to be lively. We expect Saturday to be the biggest crowd we've ever seen for St. Patrick's Day, and we expect Sunday to look just similar to Friday as well. So we're really planning for 4 days of fun and safe merriment here in Savannah.
Can you just go over River Street closing at 10 daily every day? Talk to me about that, the reason behind
Sure, and again, next Tuesday we'll talk about all the street closures and how to prepare for that. River Street, as you know, is a big epicenter for the festivities for St. Patrick's Day. So just like every year, we'll be closing River Street to traffic. at 10 a.m. Please do not park on River Street. We keep it open so that our businesses, our restaurants, and our commercial spaces can get restocked and get the deliveries they need to make sure that they have what they need to serve our residents and our guests.
And as far as the street sweepers go, immediately after the parade, what should people who are standing on the sidewalks and the squares know as far as avoiding those?
Be aware. Don't get in the way of a street sweeper. Don't get in the way of a garbage truck. That's a bad way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But of course, we have incredible Team Savannah members who are manning those, and we're going to do all that we can to make sure that you're aware of all the operations that we have during the day. But the biggest thing that you can do to help us after the parade is pick up after you and your friends, pack it in, pack it out, be aware and be respectful of all Team Savannah who's there to clean it up for the festivities.
So I wanted to clarify that Kat will be running routes, correct?
Yes, Kat will be running routes, and again, next Tuesday, all of the juicy stuff we'll be able to tell. Kat will be here to talk about their operations and how they plan to support the activities for St. Patrick's Day. But I think that's a really great point and something we're going to be talking about next Tuesday. With more people and 200th running, there's going to be less parking available downtown. So we're really urging our residents and our visitors to catch a cat bus, to take a bike, to walk. It's going to hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. It's certainly going to be a beautiful stroll no matter what the weather's going to be like. So I think to plan for transportation and a safe way to transport down is key, and we'll be able to talk more about that on Tuesday.
Hello. Is there going to be signs reminding people not to litter or have glass or styrofoam? And is there a fine if they bring glass out?
There is a fine. I believe right now it's $50 or go to court. And at court, we can bump that up because it is a local ordinance. There will be signs reminding people. We're hoping that you all can help us get the message out that glass and styrofoam is no good on St. Patrick's Day. Get your reusable tin St. Patrick's Day cup from the chamber or other partners who's got them, and come in and be safe and be clean.
Well, first off, thanks y'all for all that y'all are doing to make this possible. I want to ask about putting chairs out or anything along the parade route. What's allowed, what's not allowed? I know 6 p.m. the Friday before. Kind of talk a little bit more about that.
So, and I'll ask Eddie to come clear up anything that I don't say or get wrong, but 6 p.m. the day before the parade, so that's Friday, March 15th, you will be allowed to place your chairs along the parade route with one clear exception, not in an operable street or right-of-way. If you place your chairs in the street, we're going to move that chair because we still have traffic going through that street for the next several hours. So if you've got a favorite place or a favorite sidewalk to place your chair, a favorite tree park next to a sidewalk, you'll be able to place your chair starting 6 p.m. the Friday before. But be careful where you put that chair. If it's in a roadway or if it's blocking egress from a building or for residents, we will move it.
And just a chair, not any tents or anything?
No tents, and they cannot be affixed. So you can't nail it down, you can't chain it down.
Caution tape.
Caution tape. So be respectful of that. A folding chair will be fine to hold your space.
And nothing in the square until the next morning?
That's right. 6 a.m. is the land rush. You know that. We'll have marshals all night long, making sure nobody jumps the gun. But that's my favorite part about St. Patrick's Day is the land rush. Everybody made sure that I saw that my first year, and they really police themselves. You know, it's a lovely tradition. So,
thanks, y'all.
Any other questions?
At 6 p.m. on Friday, when they place their chairs in the squares, do they have like a cutoff time where they have to be out of the squares by?
Well, let me. It's not. They cannot place their chairs in the squares until 6 a.m. on parade morning. If you would like to place a chair along the parade route that is not in a square, and I know this is complicated stuff, but this is how tradition dictates. At 6 p.m. the night before, you can put out a chair to hold your parade route along the parade route, as long as it's not blocking egress in the middle of a road or in a square along the parade route. Squares will open at 6 a.m. on parade morning just like every other St. Patrick's Day to kick off St. Patrick's Day with the traditional land rush.
Thank you for clarifying all of this for us. My last question for you is, are there going to be bleachers set up, and where are they going to be?
Yes, there will be bleachers set up. I'm going to turn to Eddie to give you that information.
Yes, there will be bleachers set up by some of our companies here locally. We'll put that information up on the interactive map that we have. They are typically on Bay Street and on some portions of Abercorn or by the cathedral. But we'll have all that information out there for you. Those are run through, again, as I said, through private companies. So they will be selling tickets on their websites, and we encourage you to go search for that. You can search for bleachers, St. Patrick's Day, find that information. It's a great way, if you're looking for a place to sit where you don't need to put a chair out, to get some reserved seating in advance and be able to go out there and enjoy a great view of the parade.
Thank you, Eddie.
The plan for servicing the porta potties and replacing the trash cans during the parade, making sure they're able to.
So with more portalettes, we will have more services for portalettes, and the same goes with sanitation. It's very important to note that during the meat of the day, the parade activities, our ability to bring in the apparatus needed to service those toilets, to service those dumpsters and large trash receptacles and containers are going to be very constrained. So we're going to make sure that they're clean and available in the morning, and then we're going to start servicing them as soon as we can get that apparatus in after the parade or after festivities close down later that night. Listen, we really appreciate it, and we really appreciate in advance all of our great press partners focusing on keeping Savannah green. This week and next week, we're going to be really excited to share with you more details about the parade, about public safety, about traffic, transportation, and road closures. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thank you, team.